Vaisha Charane Duli Narotama Korodaya Apanara Boli Ebaro Karuna Koro Vaishnava Gosai.
O Vaishnava Goswami, please be merciful to me now. There is no one except you who can purify the fallen soul.
Where can anyone find such a merciful personality whose mere audience sends all sins far away?
One becomes purified after bathing in the waters of the sacred Ganges many times, but just the sight of you purifies the fallen souls. This is your great power.
This holy name devours one how has is apart Lord Hori.
But deliverance is impossible. Sorry, go ahead if one offends you. Here go about
Okay. Your heart is always the resting place of Govinda, and Lord Govinda says, the Vaishnavas are my heart.
I desire to have the dust of your holy feet in every birth I may take. Please consider Narotama yours, and be kind upon him. Today is the appearance day of Narotama Das Thakur, and he wrote many wonderful songs, of which we have many in this book. We sang earlier there the song Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu, Doya Koramaya. Prabhupada gives a very nice purport on that verse. Also this song that we were singing, Nityananda Trayodasi, Nitai Pada Kamala song, which is very nice, is also written by Narotama Das Thakur. Narotama is praying to Lord Chaitanya. He says, my dear Lord, please be merciful to me, because who can be more merciful than your Lordship within these three worlds? Actually, this is a fact. Not only Narotama Das Thakur, but also Rupa Goswami prayed to Lord Chaitanya in this way. At the time of the first meeting of Lord Chaitanya and Rupa Goswami at Prayaga, Srila Rupa Goswami said, my dear Lord, you are the most magnificent of all incarnations, because you are distributing love of Krishna, Krishna consciousness. When Krishna was personally present, he simply asked us to surrender. But he did not distribute himself so easily. He made conditions. First of all, you surrender. With this incarnation, Lord Chaitanya, although Krishna himself makes no such condition, he simply distributes. Take love of Krishna. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya is approved as the most magnificent incarnation. Read the second paragraph.
Hey there, you want to pray? I was trying to find out.
100. Narotama Das Thakur says, please be merciful to me. You are so magnanimous because you have seen the fallen souls of this age, and you are very compassionate to them. But you should know also that I am the most fallen. No one is more greatly fallen than I am. Tita Pavana Hetu Tavo Avatar. Your incarnation is just to reclaim the conditioned fallen souls. But I assure you that you will not find a greater fallen soul than me. Therefore, my claim is first. Now read the next paragraph, Sean.
Then he praised the Lord Nityananda. He said, Ha ha, Prabhu Nityananda, Premananda Sukhi, my dear Lord Nityananda, you are always joyful in spiritual bliss. Since you always appear very happy, I have come to you because I am most unhappy. If you kindly put your glance over me, I may also become happy. Then he prays to Advaita Prabhu, Dayakare Sitapati Advaita Gosai. Advaita Prabhu's wife's name was Sita, therefore he is sometimes addressed as Sitapati. Thus Narotama Das Thakur prays, my dear Advaita Prabhu, husband of Sita, you are so kind. Please be kind to me. If you are kind to me, naturally Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda will also be kind to me. Actually, Advaita Prabhu invited Lord Chaitanya to come down. When Advaita Prabhu saw that the fallen souls were all engaged simply in sense gratificatory processes, not understanding Krishna consciousness, he felt very much compassionate toward the fallen souls, and he also felt himself incapable of claiming them all. He therefore prayed to Lord Krishna, please come yourself. Without your personal presence, it is not possible to deliver these fallen souls. Thus, by his invitation, Lord Chaitanya appeared. Naturally, Narottam Das Thakur prays to the Advaita Prabhu, if you will be kind to me, naturally Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda will also be kind to me.
Read the next one there, Darnie.
We're doing Nitai.
Page 100 there.
Okay.
Many praise to the Goswamis. Saha Sarup Sanatan Rupa Raghunath. Sarup refers to Swarup Damodar, personal secretary of Lord Chaitanya. He was always with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he immediately arranged for whatever he wanted. Two personal attendants, Swarup Damodar and Govinda, were constantly with Lord Chaitanya. Therefore, Narottam Das Thakur also praised the Swarup Damodar, and then to the 6 Goswamis, the next disciples of Lord Chaitanya, Sri Rupa, Sri Sanatana, Sri Bhat Raghunath, Sri Gokul Bhat Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami. These 6 Goswamis were directly instructed by Lord Chaitanya to spread this movement of Krishna consciousness. Narottam Das Thakur are also praised for their mercy. Read the next one.
After the 6 Goswamis, the next Acharya was Srinivasacharya. Actually, Narottam Das Thakur was in the disciplic succession after Srinivasacharya and was almost his contemporary, and his personal friend was Ramachandra Chakravarti. Therefore he prays, I always desire the company of Ramachandra. He desires a devotee's company. The whole process is that we should always pray for the mercy of the superior acharyas and keep company with pure devotees. Then it will be easier for us to advance in Krishna consciousness and receive the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Krishna. This is the sum and substance of this song sung by Narottam Das Thakur.
Narottam Das Thakur ki jai, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Nityananda Sri Nityananda Rama ki jai. So, it is said, and Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma trame divyam, evam yo edi tatpataha, tatpadaya punarjana, naiti mamiti so Arjuna. So if you can know the transcendental nature of Krishna's janma and his karma, what happens? You go back to Godhead at the end of life. How many people want to go back to Godhead at the end of life? I hope everyone in this room. Or if not, at least going back to God and to be constantly engaged in Krishna's service and make advancement in spiritual life.
Please the spiritual master, somehow or other.
Now, there's another song. I think it's this one here, in which okay. See, this is also a Narottam Das Thakur song, so this is very relevant. It says, Gaurangera Sangegane Nitya Siddha Karimani Seya Yai Brajendra Sutta Pas. Shigoda Mandala Bhume Yeva Jani Chintamani Tala Hoya Braja Bhumivas, page 93. So, this is written by Narottam Das Thakur. What is he saying? He's saying anyone who has understood that the associates of Lord Chaitanya are eternally liberated souls immediately becomes eligible to enter into the abode of Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj in Vrindavan in his next birth. If anyone understands that there is no difference between Gauda Mandal, the place in West Bengal where Lord Chaitanya had his pastimes, and the transcendental abode of Sri Vrindavan Dham, then he actually lives in Vrindavan. So a good task for us today is to understand actually how not only that Narottam Das Thakur is also Nitya Siddha, devotee of the Lord. And if we can understand this fact, what's going to happen at the end of life? Narotama Das Thakur told us himself. You become eligible to enter into the abode of Krishna. Okay, so there's this book that Satyaraj Prabhu wrote about Srinivasacharya, Narotama Das Thakur, and Shamananda Pandit. Now, a little bit, there's in the introduction, he makes the point that, I think this is written by Satyaraj. Let's just check that. In the beginning of this book, the point is made that Lord Chaitanya brought about a revolution in Bengal and elsewhere in India as well. Mahaprabhu revived the natural spiritual inclination of the people by revealing the often concealed Vedic truth that the holy name of Krishna is both the means and the goal of spiritual enlightenment. The details of Mahaprabhu's life and teachings and the renaissance that ensued have been elaborately explored by many writers and scholars. However, it is not widely known that a second Renaissance began shortly after Mahaprabhu completed his earthly pastimes, one which may be seen as a natural consequence of all that he had imparted. While Lord Chaitanya had broken open the storehouse of love of God, and whilst the 6 Goswamis had poured that love into tangible vessels by writing books, the world would not have been able to drink deep had 3 Vaishnava saints not taken those vessels and distributed them across the Indian subcontinent. And who were those 3? Narotama, Srinivasacharya, Narotama, and Shamananda. So they were the ones who spread this Gaudiya Vaishnavism throughout India after the disappearance of Lord Chaitanya. So there was a second renaissance after Lord Chaitanya.
Wow.
So let's try to understand a little bit, learn a little bit about Narotama Das Thakur and his pastimes. Now, the one that particularly sticks in my mind, I always remember this, is when Lord Chaitanya decided to go from Puri to Vrindavan, he stopped in the village of Ramkeli and to see Rupa and Sanatana. At that time, Mahaprabhu looked into the deep blue waters of the Padma River, facing Katuri village in East Bengal, and began to feverishly shout, "Oh Narotama! Oh Narotama!" Now, this is before Narotama Das Thakur had appeared. Lord Chaitanya sees this Padma River, which is facing the Katuri village, which is the place where Narotama eventually was born. And so he's saying, "Oh Narotama! Oh Narotama!" This was no surprise to Nityananda, the Lord's constant associate. Mahaprabhu had on several occasions already exclaimed this name in the midst of exuberant kirtan. From this, the intimate devotees knew that a great personality would soon take birth, for Narotama literally means the topmost person. On this occasion, however, Mahaprabhu was howling the name of Narotama with an overwhelming sense of joy. Tears flowed from his eyes with uncontrollable force as he ran back and forth like a madman. Nityananda Prabhu was concerned about Mahaprabhu's well-being. He had never seen his master reach this level of irrepressibility, nor had he ever seen him shed tears of love with such vehemence, nearly forcing himself to lose consciousness. Mahaprabhu revealed the reason for his heightened ecstasy. Mahaprabhu tells Nityananda, "Nityananda, across the Padma in Katuri Gram, Narotama will soon take birth. This will occur in our lifetime. Kirtan is my life and soul, and Narotama will sustain it. There in Katuri, Gararhat, he will absorb my kirtan ras with all of my love. I grow anxious for this to occur. For now I will deposit my intense love in the Padma, and when Narottam comes and bathes here, the Padma will extend my love to him. The next morning, Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, and the assembled devotees engaged in an ecstatic kirtan. Nityananda forewarned all the devotees that Mahaprabhu would be placing his love in the Padma. Remember, the Padma is a river. And that this love would one day be seized by an important devotee named Narotama. After the kirtan, the devotees went to bathe, and when Mahaprabhu entered the Padma, all the waters began to overflow, unable to contain the divine prema that Mahaprabhu had stored there. At that time, the personified Padma is said to have appeared to Mahaprabhu and the devotees. She asked the Lord, I understand that you want me to deliver this love to Narottam, but how will I know when he comes? How will I be able to identify him? Mahaprabhu answered, when someone enters your water and causes you to overflow as I have just done, and when a person comes whose presence makes you greatly jubilant, that is Narottam. The Padmavati smiled, offered her obeisances, and returned to her watery form. Nityananda Prabhu was taken by the beauty of this scene near the Padma River and expressed to Mahaprabhu that he would like to stay there. Mahaprabhu told him that he would one day return, for it was his duty to bring Narottam at the appropriate time to the Padma. Nityananda Prabhu is the personification of Guru Tattva, and so he would naturally guide Narottam to the river where the divine treasure of love of God was waiting. So in or about the year of Mahaprabhu's disappearance, 1534, on a full moon day in the month of Magh, January, February, Narottam Das appeared in this world.
What was that date?
That's today, on the lunar calendar. There's a little bit of debate apparently about exactly Narottam's birth date, but anyway. As Mahaprabhu had predicted, he was born in Katuri, Garir Hat subdivision, which is about 72 miles northwest of present Rampur, Bojalijar, in the Rajashroi district of East Bengal, now Bangladesh. His father was a great king named Krishnananda Dutt, and his mother's name was Narayani Devi. They were fabulously wealthy and were kayasthas by caste. They raised their son as an honored prince. During the traditional Annaprashna ceremony for the newly born Narottam, when a baby is supposed to eat his first grains, Narottam's parents were taken aback. It seemed that Narottam would not eat, turning his head away from the food in disgust. However, shortly thereafter, when a devout Vaishnava came with similar food that had been offered to Krishna, Narottam ate heartily. All were present could understand that the only reason he had initially rejected the grains was because the grains were unoffered. This spoke highly of the baby's devotional demeanor. His parents rejoiced. As Narottam advanced in age, he became an exemplary student, mastering all academic subjects and religious books as well. His favorite activity, though, was to sit at the feet of an elderly Brahmin named Sri Krishna Das, who would daily recite the early, middle, and final pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Narottam relished these stories throughout his youth and resolved to devote his life to the eternal principles of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. One day, soon after Narottam became a teenager, Nityananda Prabhu appeared to him in a dream, saying, quote, tomorrow as the sun begins to rise, you should take your bath in the Padma River. At that time you shall receive the totality of Gora Prema, or love of God. When Narottam awoke, he immediately complied with Nityananda Prabhu's instruction. Entering the Padma, remember the Padma is this river. Entering the Padma, Narottam felt himself undergo a vital transformation. Just then, Mahaprabhu appeared before his eyes and affectionately embraced him. As their bodies merged, he felt Mahaprabhu's very essence engulf his soul. It is said that at that moment, Narottam's naturally dark complexion turned to molten gold, Mahaprabhu's own distinctive hue. Today, pilgrims visit Prem Tali Ghat in Bangladesh, where this historic event transpired. Okay, next section is called His Parents' Lament. When Narottam did not return home after some time, his parents sent a search party after him. They found him dancing furiously on the banks of the Padma. Who was this madman? Certainly it was not the same Naru. When they brought him home, his parents did not recognize him. Not only was there a change in the color of his skin, but now he bawled like a lovesick adolescent. This was not some ordinary crime, but the tears of a lover of God. Narottam's parents sensed that it was something to this effect. His mother confronted him directly. "My dear Naru, what has happened to you? Why do you weep in this pathetic way? How can I help you?" Narottam replied, "Dear mother, this morning when I went to bathe in the Padma, a golden-colored divinity, the Supreme Lord, entered into my heart. It is he who is causing these tears. I am feeling his ardent love, and I am separated from him. If you want to relieve my distress, allow me to leave home and to go in search of his lotus feet." Then, having expressed his inner heart, Narottam went to the palace kirtan hall and started chanting the Lord's names with great ecstasy. "All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord of my life." After singing for many hours, he fainted. King Krishna Ananda, Narottam's father, feared that his Naru would run away to adopt the life of renunciation. For a king, this would be a terrible fare. His only son, the heir to the throne, leaving as though all his riches were worthless. Krishnananda also had plans for Narottam's marriage. The renounced life was not what he had in mind for his young Naru. In pursuance of his plans, Raj Krishnananda had his best guards watch Narottam from morning until evening. Ironically, out of love, he made Narottam a prisoner in his own home. Still, Narottam's singular activity, day and night, was reciting the names of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Radha and Krishna. Remember, we were chanting 12 names of Lord Nityananda, Nityananda Trayodasi, and there's another 12 names, plus another 108 names of Lord Gauranga, which are available if you're interested.
Was that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya?
Yeah.
Dwasakam or something? Nityananda Dwasakam?
Yeah. There's also 108 names of Nityananda.
There is. Whoa.
So, it looks like the kid wants to join the Hare Krishna movement. Better lock him up. In pursuance of his plans, Raj Krishnananda had his best guards watch Narottam from morning until evening. Ironically, out of love, he made Narottam a prisoner in his own home. Still, Narottam's singular activity was reciting the names of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Radha and Krishna. After some time, Krishnananda became desperate. He called a spirit tamer to save his possessed child. The spirit tamer said that the boy was suffering from a common wind disorder, that his body should be rubbed with oil, and that a fox should be brought in for the boy to eat. Narottam laughed at this silliness and explained that the killing of animals is forbidden and would in fact only worsen his condition. Narottam's father relented, but this was the sort of embarrassment that young Narottam had to tolerate. Day and night, Narottam would pray, "Please, my Lord, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, liberate me from this insane life of family attachment. Allow me to serve you in the association of advanced Vaishnavas." This single-minded determination grew so intense that it kept him from sleeping. His mind and heart were completely absorbed in the Lord's pastimes and mission. You want to read one a little bit, Sean? There's one little short section here. Go to Vrindavan, you can read it.
Go to Vrindavan. One night, Narottam managed to fall asleep, and Mahaprabhu appeared to him in a dream. After tightly embracing Narottam as he had done that fateful morning at the Padma River, the Lord said, "O Narottam, as you are anxious to be with me, I too have become overwhelmed by your intense devotion, and I am anxious to be with you. For now, though, I want you to go to Vrindavan, and there you should take initiation from my dear associate, Lokanath Goswami." When Narottam awakened, he was gripped by love and separation more thoroughly than before. Night after night he would try to sleep, but the Lord would allow him to actually rest only sporadically. Every few nights when Narottam did sleep, the Lord and his associate would show him special mercy during his dreams by allowing him to enter into the spiritual world